plague humanity for generations: the Nemean lion, the Cerberus, the Hydra, and the Chimera. These creatures were the siblings of the storm, royal princes and princesses of a fallen order. They spread across the map of Greece, inhabiting the swamps, the mountains, and the dark forests, acting as living landmines left behind by a losing war. The presence of these entities defined the geography of the ancient world. Before Apollo claimed the sanctuary of Delphi, the site was ruled by the Python, a massive dragon born from the slime left behind by the Great Deluge. The Python guarded the oracle of Gaia, representing the old, chthonic wisdom of the earth, heavy, dark, and intuitive. When the young Olympian Apollo descended to slay the beast, his victory symbolized the triumph of solar logic and prophecy over the primal instincts of the mud. This conflict established the fundamental rhythm of Greek mythology. The hero is the agent of order, sent to carve civilization out of the monstrous chaos of the past. We will now trace the bloodline of Echidna and the other terrors of the ancient imagination. We will categorize them by their domain, from the claustrophobic labyrinths of Crete to the open waters of the Mediterranean. We will examine their biology, their symbolism, and the specific fears they represented to the Greeks, who whispered their names in the dark. This is the complete taxonomy of the Greek nightmare. The story of the Minotaur begins with a king. In the Bronze Age, the island of Crete stood as the supreme naval power of the Mediterranean, a thalassocracy ruled by the ambitious King Minos. But the foundations of this empire rested on a fundamental transgression against the gods. When Minos prayed to Poseidon for a sign of his right to rule, the sea god sent a magnificent white bull from the surf. This animal was intended as a sacrifice, a divine loan to be returned immediately upon the altar. Minos refused. Captivated by the creature's splendor and driven by greed, he kept the divine bull for his own herds and sacrificed a lesser animal in its place. This act of substitution signaled a fatal hubris, the belief that a mortal king could cheat a god. Poseidon's punishment was surgical and psychological. He bypassed the king and struck Minos' wife, Queen Pasiphae, with a curse of impossible desire. The god inflicted her with an overwhelming, consuming lust for the very white bull that Minos had refused to sacrifice. The curse reduced the queen to a state of desperate madness. To satisfy this unnatural urge, she enlisted the services of Daedalus, the royal architect and supreme inventor of the age. Daedalus constructed a hollow wooden cow, upholstered in real hide, a machine designed to allow the queen to mate with the beast. This moment marks a crucial intersection in Greek myth, the collaboration between high technology and primal instinct to produce a monster. The result of this union was Asterion, a name which ironically translates to the Starry One. While the child possessed the body of a man, he bore the head and tail of a bull. As Asterion grew, the animalistic side of his nature consumed the human side. He became the Minotaur, literally the bull of Minos. He refused natural food, craving only human flesh. The creature became a living, breathing testament to the king's greed and the queen's shame. Minos faced a dilemma. The beast was the son of a god's will and untouchable, yet it required absolute concealment. The monster required a prison that could contain a secret. Minos once again turned to Daedalus. The architect designed the labyrinth, a sprawling complex of winding passages located deep beneath the palace of Knossos. The labyrinth functioned as an architectural paradox, a space without a center and without an exit. It was designed to disorient, to trap the mind as effectively as the body. Minos cast the Minotaur into the dark center of this structure, burying his shame beneath the foundations of his empire. But a monster, even a hidden one, requires sustenance. Minos imposed a brutal tax upon the city of Athens, which had fallen under Cretan dominance. Every 9 years, Athens was required to send 7 noble youths and 7 maidens to Crete. These 14 victims were stripped of their weapons and forced into the labyrinth. They wandered the pitch-black corridors, listening to the heavy breathing and hoofbeats of the predator stalking them in the dark. This ritual sacrifice transformed the Minotaur from a family secret into a geopolitical instrument of terror. The beast became the enforcer of Cretan imperialism, eating the future of its enemies. The terror of the Minotaur lay in its hybridity. It possessed the strength and aggression of a bull, but retained the hands and upright posture of a man. This allowed it to navigate the corridors, open doors, and stalk its prey with an intelligence that a simple animal lacks. For the victims, the labyrinth was a sensory deprivation tank, where the only input was the sound of their own approaching death. The horror extended beyond the violence of the end. It encompassed the prolonged psychological torture of the maze itself. Hidden sin, the Gorgon represents the terror of the immediate confrontation. In the far west, beyond the famous Ocean River, lived the Phorcides, an ancient family of sea deities. Among them were the 3 Gorgon sisters, Stheno, Euryale, and Medusa. Mythological hierarchy separated them from birth. Stheno and Euryale possessed immortality, existing as timeless, static forces of nature. Medusa, however, was born mortal. This mortality made her unique among her kin. She possessed the capacity to die, and therefore the capacity to suffer. Her story is the most tragic in the Greek canon, transforming the monster from a simple antagonist into a complex symbol of divine injustice. The Roman poet Ovid provides the definitive origin story for Medusa's monstrous form. Originally, she lived as a maiden of striking beauty, serving as a priestess in the temple of Athena. Her appearance attracted the attention of Poseidon, the sea god. We see here a recurring pattern. Poseidon, the same deity who cursed Pasiphae in Crete, once again acts as the catalyst for disaster. He assaulted Medusa on the cold floor of Athena's temple. This act constituted a double violation, a crime against the woman and a sacrilege against the virgin goddess Athena. Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, responded to the desecration of her temple with a terrifyingly bureaucratic logic. Unable or unwilling to punish her uncle Poseidon, she directed her wrath toward the victim. Athena transformed Medusa's crowning glory, her beautiful hair, into a nest of venomous vipers. She fundamentally altered Medusa's biological interaction with the world. The goddess bestowed upon her a gaze of such intensity that it halted the life functions of any observer, turning organic matter instantly into stone. This curse isolated Medusa completely. She could never again look upon another living thing without destroying it. To kill a weapon, one requires better weapons. The task fell to Perseus, a demigod son of Zeus. Unlike Heracles, who relied on brute strength, Perseus relied on technology and divine tooling. The gods equipped him with a specific arsenal designed to counter Medusa's abilities. Hermes provided winged sandals for flight. Hades, via the nymphs, provided the Helm of Darkness for invisibility. Most critically, Athena provided a shield of polished bronze, reflective as a mirror. This loadout emphasizes a key tactical truth. Fighting a Gorgon is a hazard of vision. To survive, one must disconnect the act of seeing from the act of fighting. Before reaching the Gorgon, Perseus had to locate her lair. This required extorting information from the Graeae, the Grey Sisters. These three ancient women shared a single eye and a single tooth between them, passing the organs back and forth. Perseus intercepted the eye during the exchange, holding their vision hostage to demand the location of the Gorgons. This encounter serves as a thematic prelude. Perseus gains power by controlling who gets to see and who remains blind. Perseus arrived at the Gorgon's lair, a place Ovid describes as a sculpture garden of horror. The landscape was littered with the statues of men and beasts who had trespassed and caught the Gorgon's gaze. These figures stood as instantaneous fossils, life frozen in a single heartbeat of terror. Perseus navigated this silent crowd by walking backward, looking only at the reflection in his bronze shield. He used the mirror to convert the deadly reality of the monster into a harmless image, a simulation he could safely engage. He found Medusa sleeping. Even in slumber, the snakes remained awake, but the gaze was dormant. Guided by Athena's hand and watching the reflection in the bronze, Perseus struck. He severed her head with a single curved sickle sword. The act was swift, scientific, and detached. Because Medusa was mortal, the separation of the head resulted in immediate death. Yet, the magic of her biology did not end with her life. The blood spilling from her neck contained a final, generative power. From the severed neck of the Gorgon, two beings sprang forth: Chrysaor, the warrior with the golden sword, and Pegasus, the winged horse. These were the children of Poseidon, gestating within her since the assault in the temple. Medusa's death became a birth. The monster had been a vessel all along, holding beauty and power, trapped beneath a curse of ugliness. Perseus escaped the remaining sisters, Stheno and Euryale, by using the Helm of Darkness, leaving the immortal Gorgons to mourn over the body of their mortal sibling. Perseus chose to weaponize the head. The severed head of Medusa retained its petrifying power indefinitely. Perseus used it to save Andromeda from the sea monster Cetus, to turn the Titan Atlas into a mountain range, and to massacre his rivals in the court of Polydectes. The head became the ultimate nuclear option of the ancient world, an object that ended any conflict simply by being revealed. Eventually, Perseus surrendered the prize to Athena. Athena mounted the head upon her shield. cast herself from her rock, and shattered on the valley floor. This suicide reveals the fragility of the creature's power. Her existence depended entirely on the unsolvable nature of her mystery. The victory of Oedipus marked a transition in Greek mythology, the triumph of human rationality over the chaotic, chthonic forces of the old world. Yet, in true Greek fashion, this victory served only as the prelude to Oedipus's own tragic unraveling. If Perseus is the hero of equipment and Oedipus the hero of intellect, Heracles stands as the hero of endurance. His 12 labors function as a mythological catalogue of the hostile ecology of ancient Greece. The first challenge brought him to the hills of Nemea to confront a beast born of Typhon's line. The Nemean lion possessed a hide impervious to iron, bronze, or stone. Arrows shattered against its flank, swords bent against its skin. This biological armor forced Heracles to abandon technology entirely. He wrestled the beast into submission, strangling it with his bare hands. In a grim act of pragmatism, he used the lion's own claws, the only thing sharp enough to cut its skin, to flay the beast, wearing its pelt as his armor for the remainder of his life. The fourth labor took Heracles to the frozen slopes of Mount Erymanthos to capture a giant boar. This task demanded patience over brute force. Heracles shouted and chased the beast until it collapsed from exhaustion in a deep snowdrift. However, the Greek fear of the wild boar required a second, darker chapter to be fully expressed. While Heracles captured his boar alone, another beast, the Caledonian boar, demanded an army. Sent by the goddess Artemis to punish a king who neglected her rights, this second boar was a siege engine of tusks and muscle. It required the combined strength of the greatest heroes of the age, including Atalanta and Meleager, to bring it down. These two myths present the boar as the ultimate symbol of the untamable forest, one captured by a god-man, the other requiring a war party to kill. While many monsters define themselves through violence, the Ceryneian hind defined itself through elusiveness. The Ceryneian hind, sacred to Artemis, possessed hooves of bronze and antlers of gold. It could outrun an arrow in flight. The labor demanded the living capture of the animal, forbidding Heracles from shedding its blood. This transformed the hunt into a marathon of persistence. Heracles chased the hind for a full year, tracking it from Arcadia to the mythological land of Hyperborea and back again. He eventually pinned it by firing an arrow precisely between the tendon and bone of its foreleg, a surgical strike that immobilized the creature without drawing a drop of sacred blood. The seventh labor serves as a direct narrative bridge to the tragedy of King Minos. Heracles was sent to Crete to capture the Cretan bull, the very same animal that Poseidon sent from the sea, and the biological father of the Minotaur. By the time Heracles arrived, the bull was ravaging the orchards of the island, a living reminder of the royal family's shame. Heracles wrestled the beast to the ground and shipped it back to the mainland. This act closed the loop on the Cretan cycle. The Minotaur died in the dark, but his sire was conquered in the light, transitioning from a divine curse into a mere labor for the hero. The sixth labor introduced a threat that felt almost industrial. The Stymphalian birds inhabited the marshes of Arcadia, breeding in such numbers that they destroyed the local ecosystem. These creatures transcended ordinary biology. They possessed beaks of bronze and metallic feathers, which they could launch like darts from the sky. They were sacred to Ares, the god of war, representing the militarization of nature. Heracles could not fight the swarm with a club or sword. He utilized a pair of bronze crotala, castanets, forged by Hephaestus, to create a sonic frequency that drove the birds into the air, where he picked them off one by one with his hydra-poisoned arrows. The second labor required Heracles to descend into the swamps of Lerna, a region located on the coast of the Argolid. The ancients regarded this location as a boundary zone, a porous border between the world of the living and the world of the dead. The springs of Lerna were bottomless, connecting directly to the rivers of the underworld. In this fetid ecosystem lived the Lernaean Hydra, a creature that served as the tangible manifestation of the swamp's poisonous nature. If the Nemean lion represented the invulnerability of the wild, the Hydra represented its horrifying fertility, the ability of nature to multiply its threats faster than civilization can destroy them. The Hydra stood as a direct descendant of Typhon and Echidna, inheriting the serpentine biology of its parents. Descriptions of its morphology vary, but the canonical version presents a massive aquatic reptile possessing 9 heads. 8 of these heads were mortal, vulnerable to conventional injury. The 9th head, located in the center, possessed immortality, acting as the creature's indestructible core. The monster's breath alone carried a toxicity so potent that it withered crops and killed men who simply inhaled. 6 men, 1 for each head, but the ship would survive. Odysseus, the hero of the mind, performed this grim calculus. He chose Scylla. He steered his ship toward the rock, accepting the tax of 6 lives to save the remaining crew. The encounter played out exactly as the math predicted. As the ship skirted the whirlpool, Scylla struck from above. Homer describes the scene as the most pitiful sight Odysseus ever witnessed. The monster hoisted 6 of his strongest companions into the air, struggling like fish on a line, screaming his name as they were devoured at the mouth of the cave. Odysseus pressed forward, compelled by the necessity of survival. He sailed on, leaving the screaming men behind. This myth encapsulates the cruelty of the sea. Sometimes survival requires the conscious decision to let a part of you die. The Greeks used the term ketos to describe a specific class of marine monster, the sea dragon. These creatures functioned as the oceanic equivalent of the land-based dragon, serving as instruments of divine wrath. The most famous example appeared in the kingdom of Ethiopia, sent by Poseidon to punish Queen Cassiopeia for her vanity. To appease the monster, the kingdom offered Princess Andromeda as a sacrifice chained to a sea cliff. This tableau established the definitive image of the damsel in distress. However, the resolution of this encounter relied on a weapon we have already catalogued. Perseus, fresh from slaying the Gorgon, intercepted the beast. Bypassing the need for a sword, he simply revealed the severed head of Medusa, transforming the biological mass of the monster into a jagged coral reef. A generation later, a similar ketos attacked the city of Troy, again sent by Poseidon to punish a king, Laomedon, who refused to pay his debts. Heracles happened upon this crisis during his travels. Unlike Perseus, who relied on the magical petrification of the Gorgon's head, Heracles employed a tactic of pure physical brutality. He executed a maneuver known as the Jonah entry, though predating the biblical narrative. Heracles dove directly into the open mouth of the charging monster, entering its digestive tract. Once inside the belly of the beast, he hacked away at its internal organs, killing the Leviathan from the inside out. This myth reinforced the duality of the Greek hero. Perseus wins through magic items. Heracles wins through visceral violence. While the ketos represented the reptilian horror of the sea, the scolopendra represented the horror of the insectoid. Ancient zoologists like Aelian described a creature known as the Great Sea Centipede. This entity possessed a segmented body stretching longer than a warship, lined with webbed feet that functioned like 1,000 oars. The creature swam with a rippling motion, creating swells that could capsize vessels. It possessed the unique ability to discharge its stomach contents into the water, creating a cloud of toxic filth to disorient predators. The scolopendra serves as a reminder that for the ancients, the ocean was a place where the familiar laws of biology broke down, allowing the smallest garden pests to grow into titans capable of sinking fleets. These creatures, the Ethiopian Cetus, the Trojan beast, and the scolopendra, collectively define the Greek fear of the deep blue. On land, a human can climb a tree or hide in a cave. In the open ocean, the environment itself is a void. When a ketos rises from the depths, the horizon line transforms from a boundary into a mouth. Greek mythology operates on a principle of reflection. The world beneath the waves mirrors the world above. Just as the land possesses horses, the sea possesses the hippocampus. These creatures served as the primary mounts of the Nereids and the engines of Poseidon's chariot. Anatomically, the hippocampus represents a seamless fusion of the terrestrial and the aquatic, the head and forequarters of a stallion merging into a powerful, serpentine fishtail. Unlike the monstrous Cetus, the hippocampus symbolized the playful and majestic power of the waves. Artistic depictions consistently present them as the noble steeds of the underwater aristocracy. The principle of reflection extends to the centaur as well. The ichthyocentaurs, fish centaurs, inhabited the upper levels of the ocean, acting as the aquatic counterparts to the wise centaur Chiron. These beings possessed a complex tripartite biology: the torso of a man, the forelegs of a horse, and the tail of a dolphin. Their most famous representatives ground to use as clubs. Their assault on Olympus was literal. They stacked mountain upon mountain, Mount Ossa upon Mount Pelion, attempting to build a staircase to the heavens to drag the Olympians down into the mud. The Olympians faced a critical metaphysical disadvantage. The fates decreed a specific condition. Giant mortality required human intervention. A god's strike alone proved insufficient. If a god struck a giant, the creature would merely fall unconscious or regenerate, fueled by the power of the earth. Death required the intervention of a mortal. This loophole forced Zeus to humble himself. He sent Athena to recruit Heracles. The outcome of the cosmic war hinged on the presence of a single human man. Heracles stood on the ramparts of Olympus, bow in hand, acting as the indispensable executioner for the divine host. The war opened with a tactical puzzle involving the giant Alcyoneus. As the leader of the uprising, Alcyoneus possessed a unique defensive enchantment. He remained immortal as long as he fought within the borders of his homeland, Phlegra. Every time Heracles shot him, the giant rose again, revitalized by the soil of his birth. Realizing the mechanic, Heracles abandoned his weapons and engaged the giant in a grappling match. He physically dragged the colossal enemy across the border of the territory. The moment Alcyoneus crossed the property line of Phlegra, his immortality evaporated. Heracles crushed his skull with a club, proving that the war would be won through intelligence as much as firepower. The king of the giants, Porphyrion, targeted the queen of heaven, Hera. To distract him, Zeus inspired the giant with a sudden, overwhelming lust. As Porphyrion attempted to violate the goddess amidst the chaos of the battlefield, he lowered his guard. This mistake allowed for a synchronized strike. Zeus hit the giant with a thunderbolt, stunning him, while Heracles simultaneously struck the killing blow with a Hydra-poisoned arrow. This double-tap method became the standard operating procedure for the war. The god provides the voltage to stun, and the mortal provides the poison to kill. The conflict reshaped the physical map of the Mediterranean. The giant Enceladus, realizing the battle was lost, attempted to flee across the sea. Athena pursued him. Instead of firing a weapon, she tore a triangular chunk of land from the earth, the landmass that would become the island of Sicily, and crushed the giant beneath it. Myth holds that Enceladus survived the impact, remaining trapped beneath the island to this day. His breath creates the eruptions of Mount Etna, and his struggles against the weight of the rock cause the earthquakes that plague the region. Poseidon engaged in a similar act of geological warfare against the giant Polybotes. Pursuing him across the Aegean, Poseidon used his trident to shear off a section of the island of Kos. He hurled this massive projectile at the fleeing giant, pinning him beneath it in the open water. This rock became the volcanic island of Nissos. These myths serve a specific etiological function. They explain the volatile volcanic nature of the Greek archipelago. To the ancients, a volcano represented the grave of a monster who was still trying to get out. Zeus also called upon the nuclear option of the Titan War, the Hecatoncheires, 100-handers. These three allies, Briareus, Cottus, and Gyges, possessed 50 heads and 100 arms each. They stationed themselves on the ridgeline and unleashed a bombardment of such intensity that it eclipsed the sun. They reportedly threw 300 boulders every volley, keeping the giant army pinned under a constant rain of stone. This underscores the scale of the Gigantomachy. The conflict transcended a series of duels, manifesting as a war of mass destruction involving heavy artillery. The desperation of the war forced even the non-martial deities to take the field. Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft, incinerated the giant Clytius with her jewel torches. Hephaestus buried the giant Mimas under a barrage of molten iron, creating Mount Vesuvius. Even the Fates, the Moirai, who typically stand apart from all conflict, descended into the mud. Armed with bronze cudgels, the three sisters battered the heads of the giants Agrius and Thun. The image of the Weavers of Destiny beating monsters to death with clubs signifies the total collapse of cosmic norms. In the Gigantomachy, destiny became a physical prize to be fought for. Athena, the goddess of war, displayed a brutality that rivaled Heracles. She engaged the giant Pallas, not to be confused with her childhood friend. After defeating him, she went beyond the killing blow. She flayed him. She stripped the skin from his body while it was arguably still warm and draped it over her shoulders to use as a shield coating. Some variants of the myth claim this skin, rather than the goat hide, is the true origin of the Aegis. It serves as a reminder that the Olympian order was built on a foundation of absolute, visceral violence against its enemies. The war ended with the total extermination creature imported to Greek thought from Egyptian folklore. The phoenix stood apart from all other monsters because of its unique relationship with time. Only one phoenix existed in the world at any given moment. Every 500 years, feeling the weight of age, the bird flew to the Temple of the Sun. There, it built a pyre of aromatic spices, cinnamon, myrrh, and frankincense, and allowed the sun's rays to ignite it. The bird burned to ash, only to emerge reborn from the cinders. In the context of a mythology obsessed with tragic mortality, the phoenix served as a rare symbol of infinite regeneration, proving that fire can be an agent of birth as well as destruction. In the deeper, stranger corners of the mythological catalogue, we find creatures defined by their biological absurdity. The Ophiuchus, serpent bull, stands as a prime example of a monster whose physical form conceals a metaphysical threat. Anatomically, it appeared as a black bull with the tail of a serpent. Despite its docile nature, the creature possessed the power to overthrow the Olympian order. The fates decreed a terrifying rule. Whoever slew the Ophiuchus and burned its entrails would gain the power to defeat Zeus. During the Titanomachy, the Titans sought to weaponize this biology, hunting the beast to harvest its magical organs, a strategic requisition rather than a hunt for food. Zeus's eagle swooped down at the last second to snatch the entrails, saving the cosmos from this bureaucratic loophole. If the Ophiuchus was a cosmic threat, the Hippolectrion was a biological joke. This creature combined the front half of a horse with the wings, tail, and legs of a giant rooster. It appears frequently on ancient vases, yet it possesses almost no surviving mythology. The playwright Aristophanes mocked it as a symbol of confusing, pretentious ornamentation. The Hippolectrion serves as a reminder of the experimental nature of the Greek imagination. Some monsters existed simply as surreal juxtapositions of farm animals, likely serving as symbols of solar power, the rooster, and martial strength, the horse, fused into a single, awkward package. The true nightmare of the hybrid category arrived in Greece via Persia. The manticore, from the Persian Martyakvara, meaning man-eater, represented the pinnacle of uncanny horror. Ctesias, a Greek physician at the Persian court, described it with zoological precision. It possessed the body of a lion, the tail of a scorpion, and, most disturbingly, the face of a human man. This human face came equipped with piercing blue eyes and 3 distinct rows of teeth. Unlike the Sphinx, which used its human face to ask riddles, the manticore used its human face to mimic speech and lure victims into the underbrush. The horror of the manticore extended beyond its appearance to its sound. Myth describes its voice as a melodic mixture of a pan flute and a trumpet. It crooned to its prey before striking. Furthermore, the manticore broke the rules of engagement for lion-like beasts. Deviating from the standard bite and claw tactic, it fired venomous quills from its scorpion tail like arrows, striking enemies from a distance. The manticore stands as the ultimate predator of the ancient imagination because it combined the strength of the beast, the range of the archer, and the intelligence of the man into a single, man-eating package. In the Greek worldview, the boundary between civilization and barbarism was porous. The centaur embodied this anxiety perfectly. Anatomically, the centaur fuses the torso of a human with the body of a horse. This union creates a being of duality. The human half possesses the capacity for speech and reason, while the equine half is driven by flight instincts, herd mentality, and overwhelming sexual aggression. While modern fantasy often depicts them as noble stargazers, the original Greek myths portrayed the centaur tribes of Thessaly as dangerous, unpredictable savages who represented the loss of control. They existed to show what happens when animal nature overpowers the rational mind. The defining moment of centaur history is the Centauromachi, a war sparked by a single glass of wine. The Lapiths, a neighboring human tribe, invited the centaurs to a royal wedding. The centaurs, unaccustomed to alcohol, drank the wine undiluted. The liquor instantly stripped away their human veneer. The wedding dissolved into a riot as the centaurs attempted to abduct the bride and the other female guests. This myth serves as a stark sociological warning. Civilization is a fragile mask, and the introduction of intoxicants can instantly revert men back into beasts. The ensuing battle became a favorite subject of Greek art, symbolizing the eternal struggle of order, the Lapiths, against chaos, the centaurs. One figure stood in total opposition to the savage reputation of his kin, Chiron. Unlike the other centaurs, who were born of a cloud nymph, that while strength can bind a monster, only art can transform its nature. The legacy of Cerberus extends into botany. Myth states that when Heracles dragged the dog into the sunlight, Cerberus vomited from the nausea of the transition. Where his toxic saliva hit the ground, the plant aconite, wolfsbane, sprang from the earth. This etiological detail explains the existence of one of the ancient world's most potent poisons. The flower that kills wolves grew from the spittle of the ultimate wolf, linking the geology of the underworld directly to the pharmacology of the surface. In the hierarchy of Greek horror, the Erinyes, Furies, occupy the highest tier. They are older than Zeus, older than Poseidon, and arguably older than the concept of justice as we understand it. Their origin story mirrors the violent birth of the giants. When the Titan Cronus castrated his father Uranus, the blood splattered onto Gaia, the earth. From this fertilization of violence, the Erinyes were born. They act as the universe's antibodies against moral transgression. While the Olympian gods ruled over the affairs of politics and nature, the Furies ruled over the primal laws of blood. They existed to punish those who violated the fundamental taboos, perjury, hubris, and, most critically, the shedding of kindred blood. The Greeks feared these entities so deeply that they refused to speak their names, referring to them euphemistically as the Eumenides, the kindly ones, to avoid summoning them. Their appearance reflected their function as living nightmares. Aeschylus describes them as Gorgon-like, wearing black robes, with snaky locks and eyes that dripped a poisonous, corrosive pus. Unlike the monsters we have examined previously, the Furies possessed wings, allowing them to pursue a victim across oceans and continents. They represented the inescapability of a guilty conscience manifest in physical form. The Sisterhood consisted of 3 distinct personalities, each governing a specific aspect of torment. Alecto, the unceasing, represented the endless anxiety of the criminal. She ensured that the guilty man could never find a moment of peace, whispering his crime to him in his sleep. Megaera, the jealous, embodied the rage that stems from envy and broken oaths. Tisiphone, the avenger of murder, acted as the executioner, armed with a whip of vipers to physically scourge the sinner. Together, they formed a perfect psychological torture loop. Alecto deprived the victim of rest, Megaera broke his spirit, and Tisiphone delivered the physical punishment. The full terror of the Furies is best understood through the saga of Orestes, the tragic prince of Mycenae. The house of Atreus suffered from a multi-generational curse of bloodshed, culminating in Queen Clytemnestra murdering her husband, King Agamemnon, in the bath. Orestes, their son, faced an impossible moral paradox. The law of the gods commanded him to avenge his father, yet the primal law forbade him from killing his mother. Driven by the command of Apollo, Orestes chose the former. He slew Clytemnestra to avenge Agamemnon. In the eyes of the Olympians, this was justice. In the eyes of the Furies, it was an abomination. The moment the blood of his mother touched the ground, the Furies awoke. They rose from the underworld like a swarm of black hornets. Crucially, eschewing swords or spears, the Furies attacked Orestes with madness. They surrounded him, invisible to all others, screeching blood for blood. They forced him to relive the murder on an endless loop. This biological feedback mechanism defines the Furies' power. They reject immediate execution in favor of prolonged psychological torture. They prefer to drive him into a state of feral insanity, forcing him to wander the earth as an outcast, shunned by civilization because his very presence carries a miasma of pollution. Orestes fled. He ran from Argos to Delphi, seeking sanctuary in the temple of Apollo. For the first time in history, a god stepped in to block the Furies. Apollo, who had ordered the hit on Clytemnestra, placed Orestes under his protection and put the Furies to sleep with a spell. However, the ghost of Clytemnestra rose from the dead to wake them, screaming at the sisters to resume the hunt. This incited a divine constitutional crisis. The old gods, the Furies, claimed the right to punish the matricide, while the young gods, Apollo and Zeus, claimed the right to purify him. The universe lacked a mechanism to resolve a conflict between two valid types of justice. Held by the ancients. They viewed death as a prolonged slumber, a state distinct from total annihilation. Thanatos operated without malice. He functioned as a cosmic courier, retrieving the souls of those whose time had naturally expired and delivering them to the banks of the Styx. However, the Greeks recognized that not all deaths are peaceful. For the violent end, death by sword, disease, or accident, they feared the Keres. These were the sisters of Thanatos, but they shared none of his gentleness. The Keres haunted battlefields, described by Hesiod as black, winged creatures who gnashed their white teeth as they fought over dying men. While Thanatos waited for the last breath, the Keres hastened it, drinking the hot blood directly from open wounds. This dichotomy between Thanatos and the Keres represents the two faces of mortality, the dignified exit versus the messy, agonizing trauma of the body. The inevitability of Thanatos forms the core of the myth of Sisyphus. Sisyphus, the cleverest of mortals, managed to achieve the impossible. He captured death. When Thanatos arrived to claim him, Sisyphus tricked the entity into demonstrating how a pair of handcuffs worked, trapping the god in his own chains. With Thanatos incapacitated, the mechanism of mortality halted. For a brief period, no one on Earth could die. Soldiers were decapitated in battle but continued fighting. The sick suffered without release. This narrative illustrates the necessity of the monster. Without the function of death, the world descends into a horrifying stagnation of eternal suffering. The situation required the intervention of Ares, the god of war. Ares found a world without death intolerable, principally because it rendered war meaningless. He descended to the palace of Sisyphus, liberated Thanatos, and handed the king over to be the first victim of the newly freed Reaper. Sisyphus was dragged to Hades to face his eternal punishment of rolling the boulder, serving as a permanent example of the futility of trying to cheat the biological imperative. For those who evaded Thanatos or were denied proper funeral rites, the afterlife became a bureaucratic limbo. These souls fell under the jurisdiction of Hecate, the goddess of witchcraft and the crossroads. Hecate led the host of the restless dead, a spectral procession of ghosts who wandered the earth at night. Unlike the monsters who could be slain, these entities represented a pollution of the land itself. They served as a reminder that in the Greek mind, death was a process that required strict adherence to ritual. Failure to respect the agents of death resulted in a haunting that no sword could banish. The final act of our catalogue takes us to Arcadia, a region the ancients considered the oldest land in Greece. The Arcadians called themselves Prosellenes, those who were before the moon, claiming their civilization predated the lunar orbit. In this savage, mountainous territory reigned King Lycaon. While history remembers him as a monster, Lycaon viewed himself as a deeply pious man. He founded the cult of Lycaean Zeus, establishing rituals on the windswept peak of Mount Lycaon. However, his piety twisted into fanaticism. Lycaon believed that the gods demanded blood. Eschewing the common sacrifice of goats or bulls, he offered the supreme vitality of human sacrifice. Rumors of Lycaon's wickedness reached the heights of Olympus. Zeus, the king of the gods, decided to conduct a personal audit of the situation. He descended to Arcadia, disguised as a weary peasant traveler. As he journeyed through the countryside, the common people recognized the divine aura beneath his rags and fell to their knees in worship. Lycaon, however, remained skeptical. When the stranger arrived at the palace claiming divine status, the king offered him the hospitality of the court while secretly plotting a test. Lycaon refused to accept the visitor's divinity on faith alone. established the werewolf as a specific theological punishment for the violation of hospitality, distinct from a random magical accident. It warns that those who treat other humans as meat will eventually lose the right to be human themselves. But the consequences of Lycaon's meal extended far beyond his own transformation. The disgust Zeus felt at that table triggered a global catastrophe. Lycaon's crime served as the tipping point for the Bronze Age of man. Zeus, concluding that the entire human race had become hopelessly corrupt, decided against localized punishment. He opted for a total systemic reset. He imprisoned the north wind, unleashed the south wind, and opened the sluice gates of the sky. The resulting Great Deluge wiped out the majority of humanity, leaving only Deucalion and Pyrrha to repopulate the earth. Thus, the werewolf stands at the center of Greek eschatology. One man's act of cannibalism was so abhorrent, it nearly caused the extinction of the species. The shadow of Lycaon hung over Arcadia for centuries. Historical records suggest that a cult of Lycaean Zeus persisted on the mountain well into the classical period. Rumors circulated that during their secret nocturnal rituals, a single piece of human flesh was mixed into the sacrificial stew. The initiate who lucked upon this piece was believed to transform into a wolf for a period of 9 years, only returning to human form if they abstained from eating human flesh during their exile. This persistence of the wolf cult demonstrates the power of the myth. It transformed the landscape of Arcadia into a place where the boundary between man and monster remained permanently thin. Before we examine the tragic hunter, we must examine the impossible hunt. The mythological landscape of Thebes hosted a creature known as the Tumessian fox. The fates granted this beast a unique metaphysical attribute. It was the fox that can never be caught. To counter this plague, the gods introduced Laelaps, a magical hound destined to always catch its prey. When these two absolutes met on the field, they created a logical paradox that threatened the stability of causality. An irresistible force collided with an immovable object. Zeus, observing that the chase would continue infinitely without resolution, intervened. He turned both animals to stone mid-stride, preserving the paradox as a monument to maintain the laws of physics. While the paradox hunt represents an intellectual puzzle, the story of Actaeon represents a visceral tragedy. Actaeon, a prince of Thebes and a renowned hunter, wandered into the sacred valley of Gargaphia. There, he committed a fatal error. He stumbled upon the goddess Artemis bathing in a spring. Unlike Lycaon, who acted with malice, Actaeon acted through accident, or perhaps distinct bad luck. Yet, in the logic of the haunted landscape, intent matters little. He witnessed the divine nakedness, a sight forbidden to mortal eyes. Artemis, unwilling to let a man boast that he had seen her disrobed, splashed water from the spring onto his face. The water acted as a mutagen. The moment it touched his skin, Actaeon's morphology shifted. Massive, branching antlers erupted from his skull. His neck elongated, his ears grew pointed, and his hands fused into hooves. He transformed into a stag, the very creature he had spent his life hunting. Like Lycaon, he lost the power of speech. He attempted to cry out, but his vocal cords could only produce the braying of a deer. His mind, however, remained human. He retained the consciousness of a prince trapped within the body of a prey animal, fully aware of the irony that was about to befall him. Actaeon had trained his pack of 50 hounds to be the finest killers in Greece. They included Spartans, Cretans, and Arcadian breeds, each known for their relentless aggression. Sensing a stag, the pack picked up the scent, unaware that the prey was their own master. Actaeon tried to call them by name, to command them to heel, but he possessed no voice. The pack descended upon him. They tore him to pieces, driven by the very training he had instilled in them. This myth completes the cycle of the haunted landscape begun with Lycaon. In the wild, the line between the hunter and the hunted exists only as a temporary illusion. Eventually, the forest consumes everyone. The Greek wilderness was not an empty space, it was a crowded room. The concept of animism dictated that every natural feature, from the smallest spring to the highest peak, possessed a consciousness. The most ubiquitous of these were the nymphs, specifically the dryads, forest spirits. Greeks believed Pan slept during the heat of the day. If a traveler disturbed this nap, or simply walked too loudly through a lonely ravine, Pan would unleash a wave of irrational, contagious fear. This is the etymological root of panic. It refers specifically to the groundless terror that strikes humans in remote places, the sudden, overwhelming feeling that one is being watched by something hostile. This noonday terror was distinct from the fear of the dark. It occurred in full sunlight, amidst the buzzing of cicadas and the oppressive heat. It represented the moment when the human mind cracks under the isolation of nature. The haunted landscape of Greece extended beyond monsters with teeth. It encompassed the psychological weight of the wilderness itself. Pan personified the silence of the mountains, a silence so profound that it sounded like a scream to the civilized ear. Ultimately, the nymphs, dryads, and Pan define the relationship between the Greeks and their environment. It was a relationship defined by respect born of terror. You did not pollute the river because the Naiad might drown you. You did not cut the oak because the Hamadryad might curse your bloodline. You did not shout in the mountains because Pan might drive you mad. The land functioned as a pantheon of invisible deities to be placated rather than a resource to be exploited. The physical civilization of ancient Greece collapsed thousands of years ago, yet its monsters possess a vitality that outlasted the marble of their temples. This survival is largely due to the intervention of Rome. The Roman Empire, while militarily conquering Greece, was culturally conquered by it. Poets like Ovid and Virgil catalogued these beasts, preserving the oral traditions of the Bronze Age in the amber of Latin literature. Through Rome, the Minotaur, the Hydra, and the Medusa entered the bloodstream of the West, becoming the foundational vocabulary of European horror. The rise of Christianity transformed these entities, ensuring their survival through adaptation. The new theology required a visual language for evil, and the old Greek monsters provided a ready-made bestiary. The cloven hooves and horns of Pan, once symbols of rustic joy, morphed into the definitive iconography of Satan. The dragon became the adversary of St. George. The siren evolved into the mermaid, a symbol of the dangerous temptation of the flesh. The monsters survived the death of their gods by adapting to the fears of the new religion, trading their mythological context for a theological one. In the modern era, these creatures endure because they map perfectly onto the human psyche. Freud and Jung identified them as psychological certainties, mapping the monsters directly to the subconscious. The Minotaur represents our repressed guilt. The Hydra represents our mounting anxieties. The Furies represent our inescapable regret. We continue to tell these stories in movies, video games, and novels because they remain the most efficient interface for processing terror. Going beyond simple invention, the Greeks discovered the shape of human fear. As long as humanity fears the dark, the deep water, and the wild forest, the children of Echidna will remain immortal.